talking about breaking into the art world, which actually no longer requires you to lose yourself or buy a grappling hook to scale the fortress of egotude. It's gotten a lot easier.
The fortress of egotude.
Rafi's tips for artists because he loves you.
Hola, you amazing artist, and welcome to the studio. Bum, 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 bum. Same studio that we were in last time you saw us.
Because we still live here.
Yes, we still live here. We have a question that we want to answer about breaking into the art world, which, on a side note, that is, I get that question every once in a while, and I've got some things to say about the whole reason why that question would be a thing.
Our question comes from Bern Kessler, who watches our YouTube vids and follows our blog. And if you're interested, Bern's website is 371design.ca. Bern's question is, I live in the Canadian outback and have recently discovered and have time now for painting in acrylics. I also eventually want to bridge to watercolor and oils. I was wondering if you had any suggestions for breaking into the artist world. I watch all your YouTube vids and occasionally comment as Beaked at Ben. Would love to hear from you. You guys rock.
Awesome. Well, thank you. You rock.
Yes, indeed. Which art world do you refer to?
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah, because I mean, if you go by the standards of like, depending on what art world, if you're talking about the mainstream art world, well, even that, there's variations of the mainstream art world. You've got little mom and pop art galleries that are in certain areas, certain cities where they already have a reputation. And that's part of the mainstream art world, but it's not the part of the big mainstream art world where you're talking about art auctions, Damien Hirst, Jeff Koons. There was an artist last year that had contacted me and he was talking about breaking into the art world, right? And what he meant was like the big mainstream art world. And what he was saying was that he was going to be going to Art Basel and making sure that he got into the VIP room and that he was going to be schmoozing with people in the VIP room and schmooze. And that was his way of getting himself to break into the art world. His commentary on the post was a little weird for me because the way that he explained it was, you know, these people are not the same people as these people. Basically saying that, like, my art collectors were not of a certain status and were not as important as these people. These people are more important. And of course, I had a huge issue with that because I don't see people in that way. And the idea of trying to get into either a group or club or trying to get behind the scenes just so that you could be taken seriously by a group of people that maybe take themselves a little too seriously. For me, I was like, that is not, I am not going, you could call it schmoozing. I call it kissing butt. And I am not going to be kissing butt in order to try and suck up to the gatekeepers so that I could break into the art world. Like, that's just never been my modus operandi.
In other words, what Rafi means is we determined that that particular course of action was not for us.
No.
So the first thing you need to ask yourself, I guess, is what do I want my art career to look like?
Yeah, that is a great question. The layer underneath those questions, like, why do you want to sell the art? Why do you want to become famous? Why do you want to be in a gallery? Why do you want to be in these, especially nowadays because when you look at the way that things were before the internet, before the way that things work today, basically to become an artist, you had to get your name out there. And the best way to get your name out there was to go through the gallery system or to go to school. And then you go to school and you get to be curated into a group show. And like, those were the ways that you got your name out there. With the way that the internet is now, you don't have to wait to get curated into a group show. You don't have to wait until you get accepted by a gallery. You don't have to wait until you get in front of a group of elite people that are going to make or break your career. You don't have to wait for any of that. You don't have to wait around. You can just go out there, put your stuff out there, whether you're doing it online, whether you're doing local markets and shows, whatever way possible for you to get your stuff out there. And there's a lot of ways nowadays for an artist to basically create their own career, have their own business in selling art, and be able to make a name for themselves, whether it's in their local community or even online with a worldwide community.
Now, if you've been watching our videos for a while, you know that Rafi and I have tried all the things over all the years.
Yeah.
And our takeaway is if you're going to go rogue, let's say, for the sake of argument, that you try lots of things that might interest you, and then you determine if you like doing said things. And most importantly, do what's authentic to you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing, because when I think about a lot of the art careers and the way that the system was set up before, it's almost like you had to get into a group, or you had to make sure that you were accepted by others before you could actually take any step forwards in your career. And that's where the whole idea of make sure that you have a collection of work, you have to have a body of work. Because essentially you are presenting this body of work to these people that are going to judge you on your artwork, on what you've done in the past, which is always the irony of this thing. It's like you need to have a resume, but you don't have the experience to be able to start building that resume because you haven't done any shows. And the reason you haven't done any shows is because
you need to have a resume.
You need to have a resume. A lot of the way that the system was set up was very, very discouraging. And I think that that's where this question comes from. It comes from the idea that we have to break into the art world. And instead of thinking about it in that way, I chose to think about it more as I get to create my own art world. I get to create my own thing. I don't need to break into any system that already exists out there. I get to blaze my own trail and make my own path. I mean, it's the reason that I wrote the book in the first place, the Rogue Artist Survival Guide, because it's all about your mindset and breaking free from the way that things were. And a lot of the systems that are in place now are still reliant on an old, outdated system. We don't have to wait around for anybody to make or break us. We get to create our own career. And I think really when you think about it like that, then you realize that all your opportunities are up to you. There may be things that you need to break out of some comfort zones. There may be things where you're might be afraid to do this or reach out here or do this show or do something new. Right now with what's going on with the pandemic, a lot of shows have been canceled. And what I've noticed is that artists are very, very innovative. There's a few artists that are part of our Patreon family, and they've done Facebook Live sales, inspirational art hunts. They've done, they're getting on YouTube for the first time and really connecting with people. They've done Zoom meetings. There's all kinds of really, really cool, innovative new things that don't follow the standards of the old system. The old system is completely obsolete. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being in a gallery or that galleries are bad or anything like that, because I really seriously don't believe that. We have a gallery here that we are a part of that I absolutely adore him. But that's not where the majority of my business comes from. The majority of my business comes from what I do, what I put out there into the world.
There's one common thread across all routes that you might take, and that is connect with humans, however you choose to do it. Whether you choose to join a gallery, join a plein air group, start a YouTube channel, put yourself on social media, or any other thing that you could think of that you might want to try.
Yeah, I mean, how are people going to know that you exist unless you're actually putting yourself out there? And that's why the old system doesn't work. And then there were some artists that even back then just did their own thing and started creating their own career. And because of that, they were, a little bit more apt to getting into a gallery because the gallery kind of already knew what they were getting themselves into. If an artist is able to support themselves or at least make some money, they have a better chance of getting into a gallery, and you have more negotiating power in talking to the gallery. Because if you don't need the gallery, then, you don't have to sign your firstborn away or anything like that.
So I'm a big fan of sharing your work right now, even if you don't feel ready to. And if there's only one reason that I could present for that, is think about the narrative between following an artist who's like, I have reached every goal and everything I do is perfect. My journey is complete. Here's my body of work. And you're like, wow, that's a really good body of work. There's plenty of merit in that.
Yeah.
But what I'm interested in is watching the artist in the process of becoming, seeing the obstacles and seeing the victories and seeing all the in-betweens and watching that growth process.
Yeah.
Me personally, that inspires me. Both have merit.
They both do have merit, but one is ongoing. I mean, It's not like you create a body of work and that one body of work is going to represent you for the rest of your life, because that's not how it works. I mean, even Picasso went through his blue period. Every artist has gone through different periods in their life. I think it is important, just for your own self-esteem maybe, to have a collection or start putting something together instead of waiting around until you do a show. But I also wouldn't wait around to do a show until you have a specific number. You know what I mean? Like it kind of works hand in hand. Just start putting your stuff out there. Just start putting yourself out there in whichever way possible that is reasonable for you, but also pushing it slightly outside of your comfort zone.
To connect with humans.
Share
your work. Share your process if you feel comfortable. Share whatever thoughts and feelings you're comfortable sharing. But the singular thing here is humans. Humans are the art world that you speak of. Whatever art world it is you speak of. It's people.
It's people. You want to connect with people. You want people to see your art. And the people that dig it, they may decide that they're going to follow you. They may not buy right away, but they may want to follow your career. And the people that don't dig it, then, they're at least that way you're pre-qualifying the crowd by putting your stuff out there. Remember, you're not gonna be for everyone, but unless you put your stuff out there, your people are not going to find you.
I can tell you this: you're going to meet a lot of people, and you're going to connect with some, and you're going to not connect with other people.
Yeah,
that's how it goes.
Yeah, and thank you, Bernd, for your awesome question. It is a good question. But like I said, honestly, however long this video is, it's not really going to cover that topic completely. This is more of a, let's sit around a bonfire and talk about the whole concept of the art world. But the one thing I could tell you is start putting yourself out there now. Don't wait around for anyone else, because no one else has control over you and what it is that you do. You get to choose. You get to decide how you're going to blaze your own trail and make your career a possibility. And I'm curious to know what your thoughts are about this whole thing of getting into the art world. I know everybody has a different perspective on it, depending on which art world they want to get in, what they define as an artist. And I'm curious to see the plethora of different reasoning or ideas. Go ahead and share that in the comment section below. And thank you so much for watching, you guys. You guys are absolutely freaking amazing. I totally adore you. And if you like this and you want to watch more like this, just click right over here to subscribe. And that's it. Say goodbye, Klee.
Good day.
Adios.